Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. Wanted to say hey to everybody tonight. I know we haven't been on the last 2 weeks. The schedule has been a bit crazy. I won't be alone here all night. Jim is supposed to be joining me, but I believe it'll be audio only as he's working on a backup PC, but he had to work a little late, so he should be on his way pretty quick. But that gives me a chance to talk about Karma. Karma 2. That's right. The second Karma graphic novel is now available, and it's going pretty well. It's on BackerKit this time instead of Kickstarter. So that's a little strange for me, but I'm not sure how BackerKit's going to go. But they're doing this big thing called Comictopia that has like 32 different comics all launching at the same time. And they're kind of intermixed. We're teamed with American Mythology Press. So we've got a book. And if you buy our book and their book, you get an added bonus, which is tarot cards, one of our character, one of their character. There are other books. There's a Steve Rude book. There's a Fair Square Comics book. There's an omnibus from Zenescope. So there's a lot of big stuff on this Comictopia thing. And I put the link to our page in chat. Now, right now, we're running right around 7,700. We need to get to 20,000 by the time it runs out to make this happen. I'm hoping we can do that. Means we're a third of the way there. But 20,000 is a big get. So, I'm not expecting we're going to hit that overnight or, in this case, the first couple days. But we do have the great covers. This is the original book with the cover by Stepan Sejic. Stepan is back and is doing a cover for the second volume. Mirka Andolfo is also back doing a cover. And Michael D. Pascal is back and is doing two variations on the cover. He's doing his main cover, and then he's doing his adult cover or the nude cover. So there are 4 cover options. One of the stretch goals turns the trade paperbacks into hardcovers, so we're hoping for that because the hardcovers look awesome. There's also trading cards with some of the sexier scenes from the book, the same as we did on the first campaign. If you missed out on the first campaign, there is a way to get a copy of the first volume. If you want to do everything digitally, there's a digital bundle, gives you the first and second trade. If you're looking for hardcovers or whatever, there are options to add on. We have a handful of the original first volume left. So feel free to do that. You can follow the link over there. This is a big thing for me. This is a 120-page graphic novel. This is the second one I've done in this storyline. It continues the story of Karma and Alex, and a lot of the things that happen in here in the story are based on some real life events or situations that I found myself in as a photographer. Now, to go along with this, what I'm doing is every day I am posting some images from my days as a photographer so that you can see the work and stuff. I'm doing it on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. And of course, I'm linking to the campaign. So I would appreciate it if you checked out the campaign. I'd appreciate it even more if you back it. Like I said, this is a big thing for me. I'm hoping that we'll do well enough that we might even move on to a third campaign. Or a third volume, because I do have a lot of stories to tell with these 2 characters. Plus, it's fun doing a mature themed adult contemporary romance, deal. And what's funny is I wrote the original one back and it came out in 2022, and I wrote the next one like summer of 2023. And it's been a while for them to get it to where it's ready to go out. But when I did it, um, it was before the whole Travis and Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift happened. But as I'm rereading the story, I do see a lot of parallels between some of the things they're having to deal with at being a popular couple and these two, with the life that Karma leads. Also, I introduce a character who's loosely based on another real world person. You'll probably be able to figure it out pretty quickly when you see it. But this is a uh, child star turned pop star who is trying to change their image and do it a little too quickly. And she gets in the middle of the relationship with Karma and Alex. So, like I said, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here and a lot of real world stuff because, as you guys know, when you're in a relationship, just getting to the point you're in a relationship is just the first step. And then once you're in the relationship, there is so much more going on. There's so many outside forces that you have to deal with. In my own personal life, you know, uh, Lisa and I have moved to the point where she's living here now and we're having a relationship. But at the same time, there's a lot of outside forces that are putting pressure on us. And you have to deal with those things and try to keep the relationship going and not, kind of get snippy with each other and stuff like that and not have it affect your relationship. And that's part of what Alex and Karma have to do in this second volume. So there's a lot going on there. And I'm hoping you guys will check it out. Like I said, it's over on BackerKit. There's the thing over there. All right, we're going to move on to some other topics until Jim gets here. There's two I want to talk about with Jim. There's two things that he had an opportunity to watch finally that we've been waiting for him to watch. One is The Batman and the other is 1776. So I want to talk to him about those. But before we do, San Diego Comic-Con is coming up, and we're expecting a lot of announcements. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot from DC and from Marvel. I don't think James Gunn is going to be there. He might, but it really depends on shooting. I think, Feige's definitely going to be there. They have a panel scheduled, two panels. They have a panel scheduled on Thursday to celebrate Deadpool and Wolverine, which is coming out on Thursday. And then on Saturday, they have the whole big Hall H panel. I think both are in Hall H, and I think that's where we're going to hear stuff like, maybe we'll meet the full cast of the Fantastic Four. Maybe we'll get some footage from Thunderbolts. Maybe we'll get some more footage from Captain America: Brave New World. I could see things happening with Blade, finding out what's going on with that, hearing the announcement of who the director is going to be for the Avengers movie. Will it be the Russo brothers? Will it be somebody else? Also, there's rumors that we'll finally find out who the new Kang is going to be. So that's all coming up this weekend. So by next Sunday, we should have, I know Jim won't be here, but I'll probably come on and just talk about the big San Diego announcements. So, but with that, Jim is now here. We're going to bring him in. Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Now I'm speaking to the voice of God.
Yes. Well, not exactly, but I'll allow that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
I've been better, but I should have known that the week was going far too well that it would all fall apart here at the end. and even the beginning of the day was fine, and then I had another employee call off, and I had to stay to do the PM shift, and then it just went on and on and on, and I raced home, and here I am. And then I also don't have a camera currently on this laptop, so, and I totally forgot that. I realized it at one point, but hi.
Hi. Now, did your PC die and you replaced it, or is this a?
The laptop died. Yeah, I was actually using a laptop from work, and they gave me a replacement. But the problem is it's so funny. A few days into using it, I suddenly realized there's no camera on the damn thing. Like, what laptop doesn't have a camera on
I
it?
know, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna have to just buy a little like clip-on one, something like that.
Cool. So I assume you heard the news of the day where we don't get much into politics, but that's such a big story that I just need to acknowledge the fact that Biden is no longer running for president.
I saw, but I don't have any comments.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a political person at all. I'm not fond of the topic, so I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm not going to say much on it
Yeah.
about the actual race or people running, but I do want to say something about Biden himself.
Hmm.
I have been a fan of Biden's since early 2000s. I caught him on an episode of the Bill Maher Show, the real time on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was incredibly well spoken and came across like a real person. And that has always been my impression of him. Whether you agree with him or not, he's very genuine and he's
Mm-hmm.
very straightforward. And the fact that he put aside his own personal stuff to think of what's good for his party and what he thinks is good for the country and steps aside, that is just goes with everything that I've known about him. But it also kind of hit me a little hard today because, as a lot of you know, my father passed away a few years back. Well, I guess it's almost 4 years now. And I saw a lot of my father in Biden and vice versa, a lot of similarities. And watching Biden, the deterioration of his health and stuff like that was very reminiscent of watching my father. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
So the announcement today really made me sad
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, I have a ton of respect for him, and I wish nothing but the best for him for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I can understand that. Sure.
yeah. But other than that, we don't want to talk politics. You vote for who you want to vote for. That's your gig. Moving on, I did see two things that happened since we've been on the air.
Mm-hmm.
You watched 1776 and you watched The Batman.
I did. Yeah, they're very similar movies too.
They are.
Yeah.
So much singing in both.
Yeah. Yeah. The Batman could have, been improved by a few songs, I think, and 1776 could have used a masked character, some kind of like a highwayman, maybe, or something like that.
Perhaps dressed as an eagle, jumping out of the egg that they're waiting to be hatched.
Yes. What one would you like to hear about first?
Let's talk 1776.
Oh, okay, good.
So
it's a fun movie. It's got some good, memorable songs. Now, I was familiar with several of the songs already because I used to hear them when they would come up on the Broadway channel on Sirius XM. So I already, knew "Sit Down, John," and and that all of that stuff. So, the one thing that I walked away from the movie thinking was that it's got a hell of a cast.
oh yeah.
Um, and the it's funny because the main guy, John Adams, what's the actor's name?
William Daniels.
William Daniels. I never cared much for him, but I think he's perfectly suited for the role. Uh, in that. Yeah, I like everybody in it. And one of the other things that I really like is I really like the device about him missing his wife. And am I to assume that that's like it's sort of like him writing a letter, except they play it like she's there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Adams
really
Adams
like
was
that
famous
device.
for Adams was famous for his letter writing. When he was in Philadelphia, he wrote his wife every day. She
Mm-hmm,
wrote back every day. And
mm-hmm,
later in life, um, he and Thomas Jefferson had falling outs and stuff, but they were basically friends, and they wrote each other. And the two of them died within hours of each other.
wow.
And the last thing John Adams said was, "At least the world still has Thomas Jefferson."
Oh, jeez. Well, he jinxed that one right there. He killed his friend, basically, is
Actually, I
what you're
think
saying.
Jefferson. I think Jefferson actually died first.
Oh, but he didn't. Adams didn't know it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no, they
because
live far enough apart.
yeah, right,
You know,
right, right. So
but
was, Jefferson has the whole thing about being very horny for his wife and needing to get back to his. I mean, I don't know if any of that is real. That's the thing is that I mean, I guess you can just watch the movie or the play or the musical, and not worry about how much of it is historically accurate. But I think that I'm the kind of a person that does watch something like that and wonder how much how much of it is historically accurate and how much is just a product of having to make a production.
well, Jefferson was known for sleeping with his slaves,
Yes, yes.
so probably important to him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Um, I thought Ken Howard. I never thought Ken Howard could sing.
Yeah.
You
The
know, I
White
always knew.
Shadow.
Yeah, I always knew him as a White Shadow, or some guest spots he did,
Yeah.
or as the head of the Screen Actors Guild
Oh.
for a long time. So I just never really thought of him. And then I came across. Let me give the viewers some background here. I came across this movie on TCM one afternoon back in, I want to say, the late 90s, early 2000s, and watched it and just absolutely enjoyed the hell out of it.
Hmm.
Went to work the next day, and I had a buddy of mine named Gonzo, Jeff Gonzalez. We always called him Gonzo. And we went to lunch together every day. And we had gone to lunch, and I said, "Dude, I saw this movie you got to check out."
Hmm.
And I started explaining it to him. He goes, "It was on TCM." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I watched it." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it came on." And then we started singing a couple of the songs because they're very catchy songs.
Yeah, very much so. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's for me. That's the key, to a musical. You can have everything else, but if the songs are not catchy and you're not, singing at least a few of them when you're leaving the theater or you turn the TV off or whatever, then something is wrong there. And
Yeah,
this has that, you know.
absolutely.
Now,
Um,
the songwriters, what else did they do? What I mean, I wasn't really up on that.
that I don't know, but let me look.
Okay. I'm just wondering if they were, known for any other, production. Well, do you know how many years between the Broadway production and the movie?
It wasn't that much because most of the cast came from the Broadway production.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Okay. You feel like it's a little long, the movie?
Yeah. Well, in its defense, what you saw on TCM. It's the full version. It was cut down a little bit for the theater.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Sherman Edwards was the writer.
Hmm.
I don't know if he's a playwright or if he's a music. Oh, he was in the music department for 1776. That looks like that may be his only credit.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
You know,
but
the other thing I have to give the movie credit for is that there's a lot of, talky scenes, and a lot of it is in the same place, like in one room kind of a thing. But it could have gotten really boring, I guess, or just a kind of a, colorless fiction or historical drama, but it doesn't do that. I was glad to finally have seen it after all this time. I can't say that I'm very motivated to watch it every single year like you do, but so I want tell me, what is your favorite part of it?
there's a couple lines
Mm-hmm.
that I absolutely love. There's a line where actually they both come from an interaction between Ben Franklin and the guy leading the anti-independence thing from Philadelphia as well.
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, yeah.
And one of the lines is when Franklin says, "Do not call me an Englishman," and he goes, "Well, why not?" He says, "Well, it's like calling a bull a stud." And he appreciates the honor, but he would rather have what's was right returned what's rightfully his. And Dickinson looks at him and goes, "When did you notice they were missing?"
I remember that part.
I
Yeah.
love that line. I love. There's a great line in there that's so relevant today, which is that a man will fight to the death to protect the possibility of being rich over the reality of accepting he's poor.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then the final one is when the guy comes in to tell how horrible things are in New Brunswick, and John Adams gets the other guy from Rhode Island to be willing to go to New Brunswick, and he turns to Franklin, goes, "Come on, Franklin, we're going to New Brunswick," and he's like half asleep, goes, "Why the hell would I want to go there?" And the other guy goes, "For the drinking and the whoring." He's up and he's out the door.
I also got a kick out of the representative from New York that had to keep abstaining, and then finally the whatever the guy's name is who's the gavel or whatever that in leading the Congress or whatever,
John
and
Hancock, yeah.
yeah, he finally just like blows it.
What is it?
He's so frustrated, but
Yeah. Song wise, I really love um, Dear Mr. Adams,
mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yep.
especially when the final line, "There may be murder yet."
Yeah.
Waiting for the chirp
Okay.
of the eaglet being born. And of course, Sit Down, John.
Sit down. Yeah.
I find myself singing those all the frickin' time.
Okay.
But musicals will get to me. I constantly am singing songs from The Greatest Showman,
Mm-hmm.
which one of the songs is going to be in the new Deadpool movie, by the way.
Oh.
The main one, "This Is the Greatest Show."
Mm-hmm.
It's on the soundtrack for Deadpool.
Cool.
Um, Also from Hamilton, the King's song.
Uh-huh.
Da 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 ya da 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 ya da.
I'm
Uh,
I'm so glad I got the gene for liking musicals. I know people who they can't wrap their brain around a musical, and it's so weird, and they're the kind of people who sit there and would go, "Why is everybody singing?" It's like it's a musical,
Yes.
But no, I can't deal with that. Or I mean, they suddenly just start singing. It's like you're not supposed to believe they're actually singing. It's a way of getting dialogue, across, but
Yeah.
in a nice, in a fun way. Or it's like, no, I'm not going to try to explain musicals anymore. You either get it or you don't.
Yep. For me, it was high school, being in the drama class and doing summer musicals and trying to explain to the teacher, I can't sing. She's like, I don't care. You're part of this class. You're going to sing. And so we're doing like Bye Bye Birdie. It's like,
Oh,
okay, I'll join in the chorus.
uh,
Hope for the best.
my favorite musical is Guys and Dolls.
Good
And
one.
and just in case anybody's wondering, I do actually love the movie, and I don't care what anybody says about Marlon Brando in that movie. To me, it works. But I absolutely love everything about Guys and Dolls, the songs, and everything. And
Yeah.
and I discovered it through the movie, and that's what, like, if that comes on at any time, I will sit and watch Guys and Dolls. Just absolutely love it, and I've seen several live productions of it too. I'm also a huge Jesus Christ Superstar fan. The movie specifically, although I first knew the original album, that they did before the movie,
Yeah.
and but I absolutely love the movie. Now that's one of the ones where there's no actual talking;
Oh,
everything is sung. Whereas Guys and Dolls, it's talking with songs.
yeah. Now, see, I didn't get turned on to Jesus Christ Superstar until there was a British TV show where or not, I'm not sorry, not Jesus Christ, was Joseph.
Hmm.
Joseph's the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Which I have never seen.
I There was a TV show with John Barrowman as part of it, and a bunch. I mean, other Andrew Lloyd Webber was one of the judges, and they were looking for a new Joseph. So it was a competition singing show, and I got hooked on that for a while.
Hmm.
And they also did. They were going to do a new version of The Sound of Music, so they were looking for Maria. That was one of the seasons.
Hmm.
So those were fun. But there's a lot of musicals out there that I found that probably aren't like The Lovely. You know, that is such a good musical. It's got Kevin Kline as Cole Porter.
Not
It's got
familiar with it.
it's got Mila Jovovich. It's got John Barrowman.
Hmm.
But it's basically the life of Cole Porter.
Okay. Hmm.
But that was a movie. I don't remember ever seeing it on stage. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I got hooked on musicals and do love them. You know, I don't seek them out as much as some people,
Yeah.
but they definitely don't scare me off. And I went to see The Greatest Showman in theater. I went, as when Hamilton popped up on Disney Plus, I watched it immediately. You
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
By the way, have you seen Hamilton?
I have not. No.
It's a little different, of course, because there's a lot of rapping
Yeah.
and
And then I
so.
think that's kind of what's driven me away is I just don't know if I could sit through that much rapping.
But see, that's the thing, is it's not as much rapping as you think it is.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson raps, and the guy who does the voice of Thomas Jefferson
Hmm.
is so phenomenal at the speed of which he raps that you forget he's doing anything. You're just in awe of how much he is putting out there so
Okay.
quickly.
Uh,
Lin Manuel Miranda, it's I don't know if it's rapping or a combination of spoken word
mhm.
song, but a lot of the other songs are songs. So
Okay.
it's not as much rapping as you think.
Okay.
But everything with Thomas Jefferson is fantastic. Everything with Jonathan Groff as King George is fantastic. and the stuff that Lin-Manuel Miranda does is fantastic. There's a couple other more classic songs. Um,
Do you feel that you like it because you like 1776?
there's a similar humor that
Mhm.
exists,
Okay.
and I think that's what sold me on it.
Yeah.
But I was actually listening to the music before I saw it.
Okay.
I had a friend of mine who was obsessed with it and kept playing the music, and I bought the soundtrack and listened to it and got into probably about half of the music,
Mm.
while just driving around and stuff. And then when I saw it, it all clicked. So
Is there crossover as far as scenes, or like historical scenes? Is it the same time period or?
um well, no, 1776 is very specifically about that period,
Yeah.
where this kind of starts before and after.
Oh,
So
okay. See, I that's just it. I didn't know. Obviously, I didn't know what the time that they were showing was.
yeah, this kind of takes place. This is a good follow up
Okay.
to 1776.
Ah,
The
it's a
movie takes
sequel.
place
Okay,
after.
it's a sequel to 1776.
Yeah, in a sense.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Hmm. They should have
there
sold it like
is.
that. Yeah.
You could sell it that way, and
Yeah.
people, it's different, a little bit different musical stylings, but story wise, it is. It's like, okay, well, what happened next? Because we hear about George Washington in all of the letters he sends to Congress. George Washington's a major player in Hamilton. So you hear about a lot of these people, and then you get Thomas Jefferson on both sides. So,
You
mind you,
know,
they're very different, the two guys playing him.
you know what? Something just occurred to me, and I don't know why it didn't before. Uh, Unless I'm totally imagining this, I might have had a 1776 comic book when I was a kid.
There is one, and I
Is it
have a
like
copy of it.
Gold Key did it?
Uh huh.
Like Gold Key did did comic book versions of everything.
Yep.
I think I wonder why that's coming back to me now. Huh. Yeah, I think that I had the comic book of it. How does it handle the songs? Or is it just they don't do like it doesn't just print the lyrics or
It just handles the story.
okay. Yeah,
So,
I feel like I had that. That's very interesting. Huh.
and it's a surprisingly good telling
Mm-hmm.
because it really does deal with the issue of slavery
Yeah.
and why it wasn't taken out.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that people hold against the founding fathers. But when
Yeah.
you look at it from that point of view, it's like they had to make the country first.
Right. Right, because they would have been hung up on that forever then, and we wouldn't have had, our Declaration of Independence and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And unfortunately it took a while, to get back around to that.
yeah.
Um, wasn't there like one guy who was the holdout, or am I misremembering that too?
There was John Dickinson in Pennsylvania was the holdout for the main thing,
Yeah.
but South Carolina was the holdout having to do with slavery.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And
And
that's in the movie.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
so and there are some questionable things. I what's funny is the guy I was telling you about, Gonzo, that watched the movie at the same time I did. He went to Caesar Rodney High when he was in high school.
Caesar Rodney High.
Yeah, and what they were taught was that Caesar Rodney was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence because of how sick he was.
Uh,
So in the movie, of course, it's John Hancock.
yeah.
So maybe there's a discrepancy there. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some political license, but I think they get the majority of it right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it could literally just be who the heck ever heard of Caesar Rodney or whatever, but everybody knows the name John Hancock.
Yeah.
That's,
No,
I
my
mean,
gut,
it could literally just be that.
my buddy Gonzo is the type that would know Caesar Rodney. He probably wouldn't know John Hancock or John Adams, but he'd know Caesar Rodney. He's the same
Okay.
guy
Okay.
that when we would play Madden football together, he
Hmm.
always picked the Cincinnati Bengals at a time that they were horrible. And I'm like, why do you pick the Bengals? He goes, Anthony Munoz, like
Okay.
the lineman from 10 years before. He goes, yeah, Hispanic lineman, possible Hall of Famer. Like, okay, do you know anybody else on the team? Nope. I know Anthony Munoz.
Whatever
All right.
works.
Yep. You do you. So
Yeah. Right.
yep. For those of you joining us, you'll notice that Jim is only here by voice. At least I hope he's here by voice, and I'm not just imagining that he's here.
I would hope you could imagine somebody better and more interesting than me if you were having those sorts of hallucinations.
But yes, on hallucination night, we are talking musical theater.
I can't wait to talk about Batman the musical.
What's funny is in LA right now,
Uh,
it's just coming to an end. There is a burlesque show of Batman where everybody is kind of dressed from the 1920s and 1930s.
what but it can't be official. I don't
Of
think.
course not.
Okay. Well, how are they getting around that then?
They're calling it Gotham Burlesque.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, so it's considered parody and therefore,
absolutely.
okay. Gotcha.
All right. So
It's just
let's
like
go ahead and shift to the Batman. And I want to bring up one thing
yeah.
is that night before last, Lisa had not seen it yet either.
Uh-huh.
And we sat down with, our crocheting like old people and sat in the living room and turned on the Batman. And she got really into it. So I kind of have the point of view of somebody who didn't grow up reading comics, but does watch all the superhero movies and stuff.
Yeah.
My own point of view, and now your point of view that we can kind of intermix here.
Well, I feel a little weird and a little bad because what's his name is not here. The one that I did the challenge with. Eddie, is
And
it
yeah,
Eddie? Yeah. Wait, did you forget to put the thing out?
no, we're live.
Okay. Okay.
But
Um
Ed can watch it on repeat.
okay, so in a nutshell, my like quick review is that's 13 hours of my life I can't get back.
13, huh?
Yes. I'm pretty sure it was 13 hours. Might have been a few minutes less than that, but it was like pretty much a whole day that it kept going on and on and on and on. Much like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, it's like 2.5 to 3 movies crammed into one movie. It might even be more than it definitely has that many endings, and in fact, I think there's actually 13 different endings to it. So it's it in the first hour I was okay. Wasn't real thrilled with certain things, but I said, okay, we're going along. But it's really like the back half of the movie for me that I think it really just starts to fall apart. And by
Okay.
the end, I wasn't a happy camper with it. Um, in general, it's that take that I'm just not into anymore because they've kind of been doing that take on Batman since 1989, and I think it's just we've done it. Christopher Nolan did it. I don't understand why they keep going back to that well because we've seen this particular take on the character it wasn't to me really bringing much new to it. Yes, they tried to bring back the detective
Mhm.
angle. The other one, other movies did it, but this actually did have a lot of it. But for me, that falls apart and it rings false when at the towards one of the endings of the movie has just a cop that we never even had met before in the movie, I don't think, like figures out a really big thing that makes Batman look really dumb. The thing about, oh yeah, that's a carpet, laying tool.
Mhm.
Like, y- you know, like he couldn't have Googled it, or I don't know. Yeah, the thing, and then the thing is under the carpet and all of that. I think it kept losing its focus because I think the script writers kept saying like, you know what, we can do this story and we can do this story and hey, and let's put that one in there too. And then it kind of meanders and loses things. I was really surprised that towards the end it loses the Riddler and then it kind of tries to circle back to the Riddler. The thing about Falcone and all the rest of them, that was really kind of boring to me and didn't hold my interest, and it became a kind of a major part, and it's one of the endings of the movie. And then it's almost like it says, "Oh, you know what? We still have the Riddler thing. So let's go and try to wrap that up." And then it got to the point, and Dan, I'm not kidding. I actually started kind of yelling at the television, like another ending would come up, and I'd go, "Jesus Christ, just end the thing! Come on!" And it really got me when by the end it turns into like a Superman movie, like this whole thing about the dams breaking, the levees breaking or whatever, and I'm like, where the hell did that come from? There's one little mention of it in the beginning of the movie about, I can't remember how they refer to it. They said like the infrastructure of whatever the hell that broke with the water and everything is not good. And that's it. To me, that wasn't enough, to shore up, if you pardon the pun, the whole thing. Um, I didn't dislike Pattinson,
Okay.
but I didn't care for the sacrificing of the character of Bruce Wayne. You know what it reminded me of? My beloved 66 Batman, where Batman and Bruce Wayne are not too dissimilar. They're, the Adam West played it as pretty much the same, character. Um, I think I missed having Bruce be a much more clearly defined and again a persona. I mean, that, like they say, Superman really is Clark Kent. Batman is Batman. He's not. Bruce Wayne is the mask.
Yeah.
You know I didn't care for the whole Bruce Wayne thing, and I was almost glad that he's not really Bruce very much. In the movie. He has the moment where he goes to the funeral, I think
Hmm.
it is, and they tried to bring in the element of he was concerned about the one guy's son because I know he saw himself in that kid.
Yeah.
I was really glad that they didn't trot out the whole origin. It's implied and everything like that. The one thing that really was a big strike for the movie against me was the old chestnut about there's no way Bruce's parents could have been that good of people, so we need to run them through the muck and the mud. And I didn't appreciate that at all. I don't care for that angle again. I didn't care for it at all. And then I almost had to laugh when Alfred gets hurt and he's in the hospital. And I kind of had to laugh. It's like, oh, that okay, we're gonna do that old cliche now too. They did it in the Joel Schumacher movies. When Bruce goes to see Alfred in his hotel or his hospital room, I thought I was watching the scene from Arthur, where Arthur goes because his butler, ends up in the hospital.
Mhm.
I almost expected Bruce to have a whole bunch of wrapped presents that he proceeds to unwrap for Alfred in there. I couldn't believe it when they did that. But then he's just dropped. I mean, Andy Serkis was a good choice to play that. But that's sort of just dropped and forgotten. And that's kind of like a whole nother, road they go down. I don't know. It was too schizophrenic altogether. And while it looked nice and I appreciated it, that Gotham City was I don't know where they filmed it. It was more or less real. I mean, and you know what? There's not a lot of CGI in that movie.
Nope.
And I did appreciate that. It's when they do the far shots of Gotham, that's all, CGI to, make it not look exactly like New York City.
Yeah.
Nolan used Chicago, which I always thought was a really good idea for Gotham, especially underneath the elevated trains, all of that stuff. It made me wonder, where they filmed that. Here's another thing, and I'm sorry I'm being really negative about this, but there was no chemistry with it's Zoe, who played Catwoman.
Zoe Kravitz.
Zoe Kravitz. To me, there was no chemistry there, and it made me wonder. It's like these, they always have to go to Catwoman, and it's like I almost, it's like why the Superman movies can't get away from Lex Luthor. It's like I think the whole thing with Catwoman, we've done it how many times now, and we really don't need that. But that's the problem is they make a Batman movie and they go, oh well, we can't have a movie without a love interest. We have to have that, and it's like no, not necessarily. It's Batman. You don't necessarily have to do that. In the end, I am not inspired to go and watch the Batman Part 2. I I know what they did at the end there, but I think it was too little too late for me to then suddenly pivot and say, "Oh, he's not a creature of vengeance. He's a real hero to the people now." It was interesting that this was a Batman who he was around other people, and those scenes were interesting when he had to walk amongst the cops. You know what? I'll tell you who my favorite character of the entire movie was Gordon. I thought that was he was good in the role, and it was well written, and I really liked Gordon in that. So there's
Okay.
my long-winded review.
All right. Well, obviously, I disagree with you on most of that.
You do. I know you do. That's okay. I
But
know you would.
just to cover a couple of things. One, you asked about where it was filmed.
Yeah.
It was filmed in London, Glasgow, Liverpool, and Chicago.
Oh, so part of it is in Chicago. Wow, it's in
Or it was in
London
Chicago.
and
You
Liverpool.
mentioned the cop at the end with the Tucker tool.
Yeah.
Not only was he in, you said you didn't think you'd even seen him
Yeah, I
before.
probably just forgot him.
He was in multiple scenes.
Okay.
When Batman walks through the police to get to the first crime scene,
Yeah.
he's the cop that puts his hand on him and tries to stop him.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Then when he's downstairs looking at the the maze,
Yeah.
he's the cop that comes down and says they're coming.
Okay.
So at that point, he's being lookout.
Okay.
Then he's in another. Oh, when the funeral scene.
Okay.
When the cop that looks up and goes, "Hey, Bruce Wayne."
Okay.
That's him.
Well, all right. It is still a minor character to.
But see, no, he's not. Okay, this is the point I'm going to make with him.
Yeah.
He's not a minor character. He's the representation of the people of Gotham and his opinion of the Batman.
Okay.
Because in his first scene, he calls him a freak. He tries to keep him out.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the next scene, he's helping Gordon, but he's leery of the Batman.
Yeah.
Then we see his opinion of Bruce Wayne, and he's like, "Oh, hey, it's Bruce Wayne." That starstruck look.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when Batman shows up to the crime scene, he ends up helping him and working with him. And I think in a lot of ways, he is the representation of, if not the people of Gotham, the police of Gotham, as they switch from him being the vigilante. Because this whole story to me is him going from being this vengeance vigilante
Yeah.
to being a hero.
Yeah.
And I think that minor character is the people, is the way we watch how the city around him, how the people around him are accepting him and changing through the movie.
I will grant you all of that. I will cede all of that to you. To me, he made no impact on me, because here I was going, now you have to like remind me that, he made no impact. I think it's like there's just so much jam packed into that movie that to me he gets lost. So
Yeah.
I'm falling back more on the thing of, I don't understand why Bruce Batman wouldn't have tried to figure out what that is. I mean, I could see him like putting it on a scanner and scanning it, and then it hits Google, and the Google says, "Okay, it's a carpet laying tool." I don't know. I don't know.
To me, the reason
I probably had checked out by that point.
is because this isn't a superhero movie.
Yeah.
This is a noir film.
Yeah.
And Batman in this is basically Sam Spade.
Yeah.
So he's not supposed to have all the answers. He's learning to be a detective. He's more of the force of nature. That's why it's Alfred who solves the code, or the codex, and why that guy is, the whole thing. He gets little things like the thumb drive and stuff like that. So you see him growing as a detective and learning, but at the same time, he's not there yet. This is Batman year 2. This is certain things are just starting to click for him. He's got the armor. He's got the wingsuit in case he has to leap off of a tall building. I hate the wingsuit. I hate that scene.
I do too, and I don't like what they did in the Nolan movies either, for that matter.
Yeah. So I'd like to skip.
Why is it that these more recent Batman movies, that you can't have scalloping at the bottom of the cape? It's supposed to be it's like supposed to be bat wings. It's like, if not, it's just a cape. You go, why is this guy wearing a cape? No, it's supposed to look like.
That's a fair point. I don't see a problem with that.
I didn't necessarily dislike. I liked the cowl well enough. Otherwise it looked like he had like a medieval suit of armor on, and he's moving around too easily for me with how bulky that thing looked. That would be nice if they would streamline that, just the way they did in the Nolan movies.
Yep. I see them doing that too. Like I said, I see this as being the first of a series of movies. Okay. That's why I think letting Alfred kind of slide back a little bit, stuff like that. I think they're building stuff. Yeah. They gave us the Riddler and Penguin and Catwoman and a hint at the Joker.
Yeah.
We start seeing some of the pieces come together.
Yeah.
And for me, that's why it works. That's why, because some of the things that Lisa said, which stood out to me, is she appreciated the fact that since this is a younger Batman, that he's not the best at everything. He's not he's not the reason everything gets figured out. Because he's more understandable, more human. And you see where the importance is he wants vengeance and stuff. He's willing to put Catwoman in danger or Selina in danger to get the answers regardless. It's like, no, that's, is that a normal Batman thing? Yeah. He puts a kid in danger. This is not the 66 Batman.
Oh, absolutely. I hope you don't think that I was thinking that it was. Or
no, but I know a lot of people who grew up, that's their Batman, and that's what they want to see. They want a more relaxed, fun Batman, or at least a Batman who's not all angsty. Now, I like the fact that he didn't try to put on a Christian Bale voice,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Um, and I like the fact that at this point in his life, he doesn't care about Wayne Enterprises. He doesn't care to have a Bruce Wayne persona.
Yeah.
He'll figure that out. He'll see the importance of it as it goes. But at this point in his career, he doesn't care. He likes being the recluse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see this as being a multi-step process where you look at all the films together. And that's the way movies are told nowadays. You know, we didn't do that when Superman came out in the 70s and stuff like that, or even the first Batman movie. You told a movie, but nowadays everything is built for the trilogy.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and I am so looking forward to the Penguin because I want to see how this universe continues. How Gotham now flooded is going to be when you have different criminals and stuff trying to take over. And so for me, there was a lot there that I loved.
Good.
And I would put this as probably my favorite Batman movie so far, but it hits all the things I like about Batman. You know, my favorite Batman story is Hush.
Yeah, I think. See, that's where I think the major difference is between you and me. These are not necessarily the things that I like about it, or I have already seen them done. In some ways, a modern, darker, noiry, take on it. And that's a good point about the '66 Batman. I don't want that back. That happened, and it exists, and it's in this. It's very much of its time. I want what I think I'm gonna. What I want is what I think I'm gonna get from James Gunn. I think he hopefully will bring a sense of adventure and maybe a little more fun to it. I think you can still have Batman be a creature of the night, but still have it be a little bit more of an adventure, and fun. And I have a feeling the weird thing is that those are, those are going to be out there around the same time. There's going to be two different kinds of Batman, in the theater, which is really going to be, really weird. What do we know right now about part 2? Do we know which characters are coming back? Do we know anything at all about it?
No, they've kept it all pretty quiet.
Okay.
Um,
Is it filming?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Matt Reeves wasn't happy with the script yet, so they delayed it a year.
Okay.
So it won't be out next summer. It'll be out in 2026.
Right.
So, yeah. Right. And that also allowed him to really focus on the Penguin.
Okay.
So for me, the Penguin is like Batman 1.5. And then we'll get the Batman 2. So, but yeah, I think that's where the major difference is. It is a long movie. But I also, like I said, see what he was doing. And it does have that noir detective feel to it to me. Yeah. And that's what I want from a Batman movie, where you want more of an adventure movie. You want, and I totally get that, you know?
And no, I'm not saying Batman Forever and Batman and Robin or what I want either. Because that's literally, especially Batman and Robin. It's just a modern, version of the '66 Batman show.
Yeah. I liked Ben Affleck's version of Batman because I thought he was a little more adventurous. He was a little more of the Justice League Batman.
Oh, okay. Here, I want to end this on a positive note. There is something else that I liked about the Batman. I like the car.
Oh my God, the car!
Yeah,
love that car.
And you know what? It's nice to get back to a point where it looks like more or less like a real car. It's a car. It's not a tank or whatever the hell else. I did like that. I was very glad for that, and honestly, having the flame shoots out the back, that said to me 66 Batman. So
Yeah.
I was okay with that. Yeah.
Okay, here's the question.
Yeah.
A friend comes over, goes, I haven't seen anything from Batman in years. Let's watch something Batman tonight. What do you put on?
That's going to be a tough one, because I'd have to be personally, fully behind it. I guess I could say Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Returns,
Just the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, the Dark Knight. I guess that would be. I guess that's where I would go, thinking that this person is probably, doesn't want to watch 66 Batman, because if that was going to be okay, there are a few episodes of the first half of season 1 which are actually not terribly campy and goofy, and a little bit, have a little bit more, and a little bit more like the comics of the time too. So there's a few of those episodes that I might be able to, pluck out and say, watch this. But you know what, I would not in all good faith show Batman 89. I think it's, I've really changed my opinion about that over the years. I don't think it's that good of a film, anymore. It was just because we hadn't had Batman in however long, in live action, and everything was new and cool and everything. And Jack Nicholson as the Joker, although I do still like Jack Nicholson as the Joker, but I just realized now it's kind of a poor film. It's not that good.
No, and I'm with you on that. I would go with the Pattinson one first because I really like it. It clicks what I want from Batman.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the Christian Bale ones next.
Yep.
And then before I ever got to the other ones, because to me they're just kind of campy too.
Yeah. So you would not put Affleck out front?
I would put Affleck above the Michael Keaton ones and stuff.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I would put him similar to, if there was a solo Batman movie with him.
Yeah.
To me, it would be higher because I do like his portrayal of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I like the older, kind of beaten Batman. It's an interesting take on it.
Yeah.
But we get him in the Justice League, and we get him in Batman v Superman, and overall, those aren't great movies.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's my hesitation. But his performance, I think, is good.
Okay.
But, I'm not a big fan of Christian Bale's Batman suit. At least in the first one.
The first one is, yeah. It's not so bad later, but yeah, it's, and you know what? Once they came out with Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, it made the Batman Begins suit look even worse.
Yeah, I love the whole Ra's al Ghul angle in Batman Begins. I loved Heath Ledger as the Joker. Could have cared less about Bane.
I would never have imagined that I would accept and like the Heath Ledger Joker, but here I am saying, it's a valid, good take on it, But again, I like Nicholson, as the Joker, but none of them are Cesar Romero in my eyes. But that's just me.
Yeah. See, well, if I was picking my top Joker, it's got to be Mark Hamill.
I know people bring this up all the time. I cannot hold animation up with live action. To me, I mean, it's not to say I never ever liked any Batman animation. I can't do it. It's to me, there's so much more going on. There's not only the voice performance, but there's the facial and there's the hand.
So good.
Everything else, It is. No, I get that. I totally, get that. What's the
Alfred was Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Huh?
Alfred was Ephraim Zimbalist
Yes.
Jr.
Yeah. What's the name of the guy who plays the Joker in the Batman?
Barry Koenig.
Okay.
He was in the Eternals as Druig.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like if the Joker ever comes back, in these movies, do you feel like they will recast, or do you feel like they
No, I
should
think they'll
keep
stick with
going
him.
with, huh?
He's a really good actor, and I liked his voice.
Okay. I
And I
remember
think they'll
when
be
I
better off.
watched the cut scene when that first appeared online, that longer scene with him,
Yeah,
and I think in some ways they were trying to um, emulate Heath Ledger. Like, that was the roadmap in a way. Like that was to them a progression. From that. Like if
yeah,
the Heath Ledger Joker had not happened, then I think this Joker would have been a lot different, maybe.
could be.
And I want to throw this out here. I still feel very strongly that there's going to be a credits scene at the end of Superman Legacy that introduces either Bruce or Batman. I don't know why, but I just feel very strongly about that.
Well, I think we'll find out more at San Diego Con this year.
Hmm.
If there's any casting that has been announced, I think they'll make some announcements.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're keeping a lot of it quiet,
yeah, sure, sure.
and he doesn't want to cast until he has a script. So I think Supergirl will show up because they've already cast her, even though they just got the script finished for the Supergirl movie.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
Is that supposed to be before or after Batman?
The Brave and the Bold hasn't really been put on the schedule yet, where Supergirl now has a script, so it's moving forward.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, well, boy, I don't know if I'd want two super people movies, back to back. When you break it up, put Batman in there somehow.
Yeah.
San Diego is what, next week?
Starts Thursday or starts Wednesday, excuse me.
Right, right, right. But it's not like the movie stuff doesn't happen really much anymore, right?
No, this year it's going to be different.
Oh,
Marvel has two panels, a Hall H panel on Thursday for Deadpool and Wolverine,
okay.
and then a major announcement panel on Saturday with Kevin Feige, where
Wow.
they're expected to do a lot of the big announcements again.
Okay.
So I
Wow.
think they're going to save the TV announcements for D23,
Yeah.
but I think they're going to do the movie announcements. So we'll probably get our first look at the cast of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We'll probably see something from Thunderbolts.
Uh-huh.
We'll get more from Brave New World. And I think we'll find out. Rumor is that we're going to get the new Kang actor
Okay.
and that possibly the Russo brothers will be back
Okay.
for the Avengers movies.
What do you feel is the chances that some kind of footage from Superman Legacy might be shown? Is it way
Possible.
too soon, you think?
Well, I would say way too soon, except that's what Fahey did. They had just shot like 2 weeks on Guardians of the Galaxy,
Mm,
and he had something put together for San Diego.
yeah.
So I could see Gunn trying to do something, even if it's just a flying test.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, that's going to be exciting then. That's going to be very, very
Yeah,
exciting.
see, I don't think he'll be at San Diego. He said he won't be. So I think he's probably going to, wherever they're filming at the time,
Yeah.
probably pop up on screen, say a few things. And then if I was him, I would do a scene of Superman being very human, like
Mm-hmm.
rescuing a cat from a tree,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing.
Or a Clark Kent scene.
Or Clark Kent's scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
so none of the actors will probably be at San Diego then.
since they're currently filming,
Yeah,
so they did just wrap in Cleveland, so I don't know where they're filming next.
yeah.
I think it's possible, but I would lean towards not likely on that.
Okay. Okay.
So,
All righty.
all right. I think we're going to wrap it up there. We're a little over.
I hope Eddie enjoyed my review of the Batman.
I don't know. Eddie loves the Batman. So.
I know. Well, but he might enjoy my take on it. You never know.
Oh yeah, it's always fun seeing somebody be completely wrong for 45 minutes.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm wrong about the Batman. I'm wrong about what's that one fantasy movie?
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. Yeah, I'm wrong about that. Okay.
Yeah, you got some questionable taste there, bud.
Yeah, I like Batman '66. I like Marlon Brando in Guys and Dolls,
and you like the Star Wars sequels. So
yeah. Hey, why be mundane? That's what I say. That's my motto in life. Why be mundane? Anybody can like those other things.
Yeah, just because mundane sounds like Monday doesn't mean you have to be what everybody hates.
Okay. All right. Point taken.
All right, bud. It's good chatting with you.
Yeah.
Now, you're not here next week, right?
That is correct. So I got to look at my calendar here. I won't be here the 28th and the week after that too.
Okay.
And the 4th. So I will be back on the 11th.
Okay, I will hop on Sunday night next week for a little bit at least.
Oh,
and try to cover the San Diego Con news.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would expect that you would. So that's good.
Yeah. So and then we'll figure out the week after that.
Okay. So. May we all have some very cool stuff coming to us next week.
Yep.
I hope something for everybody. You know, that would be really fun if everybody, you know, no matter what they like, gets a little bit of something cool. You know.
By the way, is it me or does my hair look very red?
Oh my God, it's like shocking red. It's like Anne Margaret red. Yeah, and it's funny now that you bring that up. Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, because I got brown hair. I'm not sure what's going on.
You must be coloring it because your beard is completely white. But you know what? Mine is too. My beard is completely white, and I still have color, you know, in the rest of my hair. But yeah, that's super red. But you know what? Mine is the same way. There are certain days where it's redder than, you know, I don't know what, like, the chemicals in my body are doing something different, you know, that day. But boy, now that you point that out, it's almost like, damn, put a filter on that thing or something.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it really is.
That. Like, okay.
Ooh,
all right, we're going to wrap it up there.
Totally fake. That's like from a bottle. I know it is.
Yeah. Yep. So we're going to wrap it up there. On behalf of Jim and me, Archie, from comics, I will see you all next week. And Jim was on vacation. We're going to call it vacation. I know he's working.
Yeah.
And, we will see you all then. And I will be on the air Thursday with my predictions of what will be coming up in San Diego. And please check out the Karma 2 Kickstarter going on now. I would appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
Good night.